So today we're talking with two juggernauts of Silicon Valley that have been there since before it was Silicon Valley. We have with us here Martha Niño and Sargon Eshagh from the Silicon Valley that is becoming browner and browner. So we're really excited to talk to you guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. It's so exciting.
Thank you, Gaby, and thank you for bringing the attention to our age.
Well, we have to look up to somebody. Really want to talk to you guys today because you've known each other for almost 30 years. Now you're combining forces again now. So what has led up to this partnership today? What's the partnership about?
Go for it, Sargon.
Martha and I reconnected after a few years. I'm not going to say how many. It's interesting because we both did very similar things in a different way. And then after all these years, we're doing the same, which is similar things in a different way. And when I heard about what Martha was doing, I got excited. It was about helping people to get over their fears, to get out and do things. And Martha can talk a little bit more in details about what her foundation is about. And I thought, what a great thing to do is for us to combine our forces, which have absolutely nothing to do with each other. We manufacture a mobile device accessories, and Martha has a foundation, but we kind of went back to our roots and thought about what if we bundled some of these things together, and with the help of zutBe, we're going to get some of her books out for limited time and bundle them for free in our packages. So every time somebody buys a zutBe product, we'll be bundling a wonderful book with great stories. And I tell you what, every time I read it, and I've read it multiple times, it not only brings tears to my eyes, but it actually brings joy to me. And it helps me kind of reflect back on what my life has been as an immigrant. And, some of the times that I said, why me? It's to look at the book and say, hey, why not me? And where can I go from where I started? So, Martha, you can take it from there.
Thank you, Sargon. So, hey, I just want everybody to know Sargon was one of my first Silicon Valley bosses. I've always looked up to him. He was just kind. He wasn't a micromanager. He taught a lot. And anyways, here we are 20-something year on later. And, we haven't changed because I think the core of us always stays the same. And I think that's important. But I also looked at zutBe and I thought, oh, what a cool idea for an organization to give back. I actually work at Adobe. And then my little side hustle has been this organization, Martha Niño Foundation. And the side hustle has turned into this big hustle. Sargon and I reconnected and we said, well, what if we kind of join forces? And, he puts out, the power of giving back. And I say, and we have a story to give back. And what better than to give back hope? And I think that's what Sargon and my partnership is going to do is, we worked in retail together back in the days where we would bundle things in boxes. And here we are bundling, this little book inside of the products that he supports, which by the way are great. I have a couple of them. Thank you so much, Sargon, for sending those over. My kids already stole them. But when somebody opens the package, clearly it has Sargon's touch. It is classy like Sargon and everything that he has done. And there's a message as you open it, thank you for giving back also. And now there will be, a story that helps people get perspective as far as, what an immigrant goes through in this country, whether you come from Mexico, wherever you come from. It's just stories of believing you can be better. And with believers, I always say believers, and Sargon is one of my believers that has crossed my path. And given us an opportunity, we can be better. And look at us, just thinking creatively. And I admire that about Sargon. He thinks creatively. His business, when I saw it, I was like, wow, it's creative. Let's give back. It's part of the DNA of his organization. And I'm like, I'd like to kind of embed my DNA in there too. Let's figure out how we can do some good things together. And here we are.
Knowing Martha from the earlier days of us working together, there was one or a couple of things that kind of went with Martha. One was that positive feeling, a big smile, and she was always about getting things done. And if we couldn't figure anything out, Martha was the one that said, "Nothing to worry about. We'll figure it out." And this was her idea, actually, not my idea, of course. But she said, "You know what? Hey, what if we bundle this guy with your stuff and, get a little bit of awareness out there," which is a great thing. Again, collection of stories, but at the same time, it's a whole story. It's not just a
Right.
collection of stories.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting that you say we'll figure it out, because that's literally like if I ever had a motto in my life, it's like I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And I actually think that's the immigrant motto. We will figure it out. We don't know it all. We come to this country, we don't know. We seek out people, we seek out information, seek out good vibes, and we somehow will hustle and figure it out, and that's valuable.
And trust me, reading the book now, I understand why you were the way you were, not only positive with some of the challenges that you went through in your life to, the big smile and getting things done the way you said, "Hey, you know what? Don't worry. We'll figure it
I'll
out."
figure it out.
And, one of my favorite stories here is Love is Love. It truly resonates with me and shows a kindness of a person, but at the same time, a love of a mother and understanding of the kids. Which again, I mean, if you let me, I'll, wipe the tears off my eyes right now, but just a beautiful story
Thank you.
altogether. And I said, what better if people are buying the products, zutBe products for a cause, what better for them to read and understand some of the challenges that people go through and how they can actually help.
Yeah. And so thank you for bringing Love is Love. So there's about 30 or 40 little stories, all from a child's perspective in this book. And I think it's very important because as we become, adults, everything that we go through, how we are, I think it kind of stems from childhood. A lot of it, that makes us. But as you were saying that, I turned to one page, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but that is my grandparents' house, which really is a shack, and it's actually much better than the shack I was born in. This one actually had some firewood outside and some concrete floor. Very, very humble beginnings. And for me, Sargon, to be in an industry, to have been given an opportunity to work with you in that sound company, to come from humble beginnings like that, that's what I want people to know is you can start from virtually nothing. And with the help of, good people giving you an opportunity, or, us, even you saying, "Yes, let's put the book in there." That's an opportunity for me. Just another method of spreading the good word is, and it's creative. And no pun intended, we used to work at creative. So, and it's creative. And I like that. We always have thought of things out of the box. And this is what excites me about working with zutBe and under Sargon's leadership. And for anybody who gets this product, opening that up, not only seeing Sargon's amazing products in there, which by the way, I know are top notch because I know how Sargon is, but also seeing that you've given back as a result of buying these products. We're giving you this book for free, which is like almost a $20 value. This is free. Don't forget to put your review on Amazon, but this is for you. And hopefully it gives a lot more than just, I wanted to give hope. And I want more people to go and apply for jobs they would have never thought of applying for. That even if you're interviewing with a person like Sargon, who sometimes when he puts on a suit is a bit intimidating, it's okay. There's kind people out there that will give us a chance. And thank you, Sargon, for giving this partnership a chance.
My pleasure, Martha. Can you do me a favor and maybe talk a little bit about how can people give back to your foundation directly?
Yeah.
Free this, free that is great, and people are going to get the book. But I want to make sure that you do the next big thing and help more people. So how can they actually reach out to you or help your
Yeah,
foundation?
see, he's always thinking of giving back in a bigger way. This is good. So when people receive the package of what they ordered through zutBe, there will be a QR code, a bookmark actually, that will have a QR code. You can scan it and you can actually donate back through sponsoring a classroom. And it's $220 for 35 books that the kids get to take back home. And that's very important because amongst the underserved community, it's expensive to buy books. So if you sponsor these kids, this one classroom through the QR code, you'll be able to give back in that way. You can also just go to marthanino.com under books, and there'll be the link on how to donate back there, or just reach out to me. That's fine too. So you can find me on LinkedIn. But that's really how we're going to be giving back, is one classroom at a time. One classroom at a time. And if you need me to zoom in or whatever, the author could come to life. We've done that too. And that makes it pretty real for the kids.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank
One thing I like about both of you is you're both in Silicon Valley, in tech. You could have just chosen to be like, okay, I'm going to worry about me and my family and that's it. But you've both decided to expand your horizons and say, okay, as I rise, I'm going to take other people with me. So I really appreciate that about both of you. A little bit more from Martha here. Why is it so important for this idea to spread to kids, especially?
Yeah.
Why is that a pain point?
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, like back there, I have butterflies. Like I have this whole idea that, all kids are born with wings. We're all born with potential. Those wings symbolize potential. We just need folks to good people, good programs, good information, good opportunities to allow us to fly higher, right? And to maximize our potential. It's important for this community to break cycles. It's important to break cycles of poverty. It's important to break cycles of the jobs that maybe our family has had for generations, and step out of the box a little bit, and just believe that you can be there too. And although you might not, I don't look anything like Sargon, and I have hair. No, just kidding.
I was just going to say, it'll be hard to look like
Just
me these
kidding. We're
days.
joking. All jokes. I love Sargon to death.
I'll get back to you. It's okay.
I know. Love Sargon to death. This is the kind of rapport we have, right? But it's important for anybody, even if you don't look like each other, to just say, if our hearts are the same, then that's cool. That's cool. So let's look deeper than just kind of the externals and look at the, what can we offer? Am I a good worker? Let's do it. If I have good ideas, maybe I belong there too. If you're called into an interview, know that you look great on paper. Now, can we, have a good rapport and have lunch together and tease each other? Yes, that's what we want to have other kids believe, or have kids believe that they can make a difference. And so it's so important because there's millions of kids out there within the underserved communities that might never think of, the tech industry or any industry that maybe looks different than what they grew up with. And it's just another opportunity to show it. I'm there. I worked with Sargon. We were there together. And you know what? Here we are 20 something years later. Let's not fear it. Let's just actually collaborate and co-create. I talk a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, it's super important. If you even look at the U.S. 2020 census, the U.S. is becoming browner.
Mhm.
There are so many more kids that are second or third generation immigrant, and they're, in a way, they're kind of living in a bubble. So we need to pop their bubble
There
and be
you
like,
go.
you have all these other opportunities.
Come on over. Well, we need to show them, Gaby. We need to show them who's in the bubble. And, those people in the bubble need to bring them on in, So that's why I feel this book is important. That's why I feel this collaboration is important. Um, And I hope more people actually say yes to opportunities they might have never said yes to or even considered.
So now let's compare immigrant stories because we're all immigrants here, but we all came at different ages and in different decades. So let's start with Sargon. We all know Martha's story. So Sargon, tell us a little bit about how you ended up where you are now.
There's a reason why I didn't write a book. Uh, my story compared to Martha is fairly boring. I was born in Iran, and in '79 we had a revolution, and everybody was trying to figure out what to do, and not to get shot, killed, or by any one of the groups. So my parents decided that they were going to send me to England to study, and after a few years of studying there, I ended up in California. And truly, for the first time, I felt like I was home because, not because, the weather was nice and we had a lot of sunshine, but it was because of the people and how accepting they were. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter what you had, but you were an individual. And, similar to Martha, maybe, at the end of the day, there were people along the way that actually helped me in small or big ways that some of them might not even recognize it. And that's why I am here today doing what I do today. After quite a few years being in the tech industry, working for large companies, working for small startups, one day I decided that I was going to stop doing what I was doing, and I wanted to do something to be able to give back. I wanted to be able to help other people, especially disadvantaged people. It's not about getting a scholarship for a kid that can potentially, get money from other places, but it's about the people that cannot figure it out. So we do give back to quite a few different nonprofits. Some of them have nothing to do with education. Some have to do with education. Some have to do with certain illnesses and so on. But for me, it was about time to give back. And when I looked at across the products that were out there and what I wanted to do, I said, you know what? There are a lot of products coming into the US that they're not built to be safe or to the specs, and they're getting plugged into everybody's rooms and the kids' rooms. My kids sleep with their phones plugged into the chargers under bed. So I said, you know what? Let's create products that they're built to be durable, built to be safe. They're ethically built. So I spent a lot of times at the factories trying to figure out which was the best factory to work with. And we said, well, let's finally give back, and which is the core of what our DNA is about. It's not about the product. It's really about helping other people. And that's how I ended up here.
Okay, very cool. And when you made the jump into Silicon Valley as an immigrant there, did you feel like you had any pushback, or what was it exactly that your allies helped you to accomplish there?
So I was born as a minority in Iran. And being a minority in a developing or third world country sometimes is not the best thing, because you're always looked at differently. And people can tell because you have a different language and you have accent when you speak the language. You might look slightly different, but not that different. But people generally can tell if, either by name, accent, and so on, that you were not a native person. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, California was the first place that I felt like home. Because nobody judged me. Nobody cared that I spoke a different language. People thought my name was cool. So, I didn't have to say, oh, sorry, my name is Sargon.
Right.
It was, especially San Francisco was definitely the big change for me when first time I went to San Francisco. I never really felt like I was being discriminated against. And I felt there were a lot of people, either from my managers to, uh, people that I interacted with at school. Everybody really tried to help me versus tried to put me down. And again, this could be a California thing, but and maybe I was lucky that I ended up in California. But I'm grateful, and I'd love to give back and help other people just because of that.
California hospitality.
Yeah.
Let me also add to this. Sometimes it's just that very little thing that somebody does that means a lot. It's not always financial help, and it's sometimes it's advice, and I got a lot of free advice, which was great
Yeah.
from very smart people.
Yeah, the advice I can say from my personal experience makes the most difference because now I'm an immigrant in Germany. I moved here about almost 5 years ago. Still can't believe it. And people assume, well, she's American. She'll figure it out. It's fine. We don't have to. But we have an expression in English. Just because someone carries it well doesn't mean it's not him.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's already number one, another language. Then, since my husband and I are both immigrants, but I have preferential treatment because of my citizenship, we have to do things separately. So it's double payments for a lot of visas and things like that. And people assume, oh yeah, they'll figure it out. Or they try to help and they're not really sure what to do. So it could be something as small as saying, yeah, it's better to buy your fruits and vegetables here, not over there because of pricing. Something as simple as that can help a lot. It's huge. Maybe we can switch gears a little bit here for both you and Sargon because unlike me, you both have kids. So now you're going from being first gen yourself. How do you see that your experience is different from your kids' experience?
Well, in my case, I hope that, I was born in Mexico, just like Sargon was born in Iran. I consider us zero generation. Maybe our kids are like the first, but we've been here a while, right? Um, I hope that my kids learn from my experience and my, everything that I've gone through. Cause, it hasn't always been okay for me. I mean, I started with no documents, as a child and, with family that was hiding and, they couldn't ask the government for help because we are not wanted in this country. So it was a little bit different situation that what maybe Sargon went through, but still we were coming from a different place. Right? So I hope that my children learn from my story, their dad's story. He's from Colombia, a little bit different story, and just are better than us. One thing I hope my children learn too is that we don't necessarily need to have a straight path up, that it's okay to kind of have this kind of path. And eventually, if you work hard and align with the right people, you'll end up at the right place. You'll end up at the right place. So the whole idea is just be kind, like Sargon says. I mean, I also encountered a lot of kind people. As a matter of fact, one of them worked with the Sargon and he sat me down and this is unsolicited. I didn't even know I needed advice. And he sat me down on a whiteboard and he says, what direction do you want to go? Do you want to do the administrative route, which is what I was helping you out with, Sargon? Or do you want to go the marketing route, which was where Mala Sharma, who's a VP at Adobe, is now? I don't know the difference. Like I literally didn't know the difference and I was already 20 something. And so he says, okay, if you go this route, you can kind of get up to here. But if you go the marketing route, you can get up to here. And I said, well, I'd like to get up to here. And so that's when I kind of moved into marketing. Again, unsolicited advice, just somebody who just wanted me to know more. And that's important. So if you know more than that other person, and we know more than our kids now, it's up to us. It's our duty to teach that to anybody. And so I hope that with my journey, my experience, everything I've gone through, I'm 50 years old now. Like that's a lot of years and a lot of things I've gone through. And that's why, I put a lot of it in here and it's important. And you and I talked about it, Gaby, even though you go from here to here, what happens in the middle? What happens in the middle? Let's talk about the middle. And everybody, our kids, everybody needs to know those details. Otherwise, we're just guessing.
Yeah. If you share the stories behind your scars, you can make someone else's middle a lot smoother. How has it been for you, Sargon? I know you and your wife, has a Vietnamese background and you have, I think it's 2 kids. What has that been like for you guys?
What we've tried to do, we are both immigrants. Of course, her journey here, it's no different than mine, or to some extent, Martha, I think she came to the United States when she was 6 years old, again, because of the war in Vietnam. And I think what we have both done for the kids is we've tried to eliminate a lot of the challenges that we had. And having dealt with our parents and the challenges that they introduced to us, because they were trying to figure things out. And, we've tried to eliminate some of that burden and try to help them integrate a little bit better. I'm not going to say that we have eliminated everything. We've also let them learn our stories because not everything is easy. I think collectively we have taken some of those burdens away from them so they can focus on becoming more successful than us. If we can say that we are successful, we're making sure that they're getting the best education that they can get. We are making sure that we are there for them every step of the way, helping them get through some of the difficult times at school with their friends or with their studies, coaching them. Some of the coaching that was missing in my life because I left earlier on in my life and I didn't see my parents for quite a few years was the coaching that I could have gotten from my parents, the advice that I could have gotten from my parents. So I ended up making a lot of mistakes, which I learned from, which is probably good, but I'm trying to help my kids maybe understand what those mistakes are as they're stepping through their life, take a corrective action before they actually go down the path of making bigger mistakes.
Yeah.
But, essentially, I'm just there for them so that, if they fall, I can get them up and help them take the next step.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Your first mentor is the people closest to you.
That's right. That's right. So we better try to be good, right, Sargon?
I'm trying. And every
And I mess
time,
up sometimes, and
every
that's okay.
time, every time my kids do something that I feel like it's outrageous, I take a step back and I said, you know what? I did things like 100 times worse than they did. So let me take it a little bit easier. And, I'll have a conversation, but I'm not hard on them a lot of times. So
Yeah. Hey, Sargon, you just mentioned something, kind of that whole idea of what success is. And I don't know if you've ever, now that I'm older, I'm like, success looks so different than when you and I worked together. Success, I think when we were younger and working with each other was, oh, let's launch this product out the door and let's have this great meeting and let's do this great presentation and let's get a promotion. It's like, and that has changed. Life happens, right? You get older, you have responsibilities, you've gone through a couple decades of work. And, to me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, success is actually, for me, as you were talking about it, and hopefully this helps people with this effort with zutBe and, the Martha Niño Foundation, is really having the ability to give back, and, invest in those companies and buy from those companies and organizations that are really, their heart is in giving back. I'm standing here in my yard. It's beautiful. Like, this is mine. This is mine. I am successful. It's 100 years old, but it's mine. And I have the opportunity, and my giving back is through writing and hopefully through these books, we can give hope. So giving back in whatever matter you can, you do it too with the organizations you support. And so I feel that just kind of going through that whole circle and being in a place that you're at peace, you're working and doing what you love, you're helping a little, that's successful, I think.
Going back to this success stories and the kids, my parents played lottery every week, It was the same number that they played every week, and they lost every week, every week. The one week that my dad didn't buy the lottery ticket, the numbers hit.
Stop.
I'm not kidding. So my mom's friend asked her. She said, "Are you upset that you could have been a millionaire?" She said, "I already have $3 million." She goes, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I got 3 kids, and they're each worth like millions for me, and that's makes me happy. It's not the money. I mean, success is not
No.
money. Success is really being happy, having great kids, having great family, and seeing them grow to do good things. Maybe I'm the only one that does what I'm doing today, but when they grow up, I hope that will be 2 more people that give. Early on, when I started zutBe with some of my friends, I met with a couple of VCs in the Silicon Valley, and they really liked the idea. I ended up doing it all self-funding, so it's not VC supported. But the question that I got was, Sargon, what if people copy you? Because it's really easy to, I mean, your story is great, and giving back, it's a wonderful story, and it resonates with people. What if other people copy you? And I said, that's a beautiful thing. I would love nothing more than my biggest competitors start doing the same thing, not saying it, but actually giving back to the community. And imagine if I'm giving this much, they'll be able to give this much. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm definitely not opposed to it. I feel like I have succeeded in my life to do what I wanted to do. And if I can help others get there and give back more, I would love to see that.
Same.
Yeah, the whole economy, I feel like, is having a bit of a shift. Like when I was growing up, it was like work, GDP growth, marketing, month over month growth. And now we're like, you know what? Wealth is having enough to share.
That should be on a
It's
bumper
totally
sticker
different.
somewhere. Wealth is having enough to share. Yeah, I love that.
It's a Native American proverb. I can't remember which
Love
tribe,
that.
but there was one chief who said, "I'm wealthy." And it's like, how? It's like, no, wealth is having enough to share, to give away.
Yes, that's right. That's beautiful. And I think, whatever that means to you, whether it's giving away, like in my case, stories, and like you, Sargon, I mean, people have asked me, what if other people start doing these books? I'm like, great. We need to see more stories. As a matter of fact, call me. We'll add them to the next book. I want people to give away their wisdom, their experiences. I think that's the only way we're going to learn how to just be better humans together. So if we can help people as a result of verbalizing our experiences, as a result of partnering, as a result of collaborating, and just being kind and good, success.
Yeah. The last thing I want to ask you guys,
Go ahead.
because you're both very busy, I've seen this trend of where Black businesses will only work with Black organizations, or Spanish businesses will only work with Latino businesses, will only work with Latino organizations. And I feel like, unfortunately, we're building walls instead of bridges. So how can we get past that for everybody to move forward together?
Let me start, because I can say a lot about that. That is okay. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I remember going to college in England. We had this a lunch area. It was called the refectory. There were groups of people. There were groups of immigrants from Iran. They always stuck together. There were like the bricklaying class. They all stuck together. Then there was the secretarial school that they all stuck together. And then there was us. We were like the crazy people that mix with everybody, and sometimes in a good way or a bad way. Being in tribes is not a bad thing, but you do need to step out of it, especially when you think about giving back. and helping other people. It really doesn't matter if we are brown, black, blue, whatever color we are. It's the individuals that will make a difference. One of the nonprofits that we work with is the Thornwood Marshall. For me, somebody will say, well, you're not black, so why you're helping that and why you're not helping this other organization? And for me, it's, looking at a group of people and seeing, as Martha said, how can you break that cycle? How can you help those people get education and break that cycle? And we only going to succeed if we work together.
That's right.
If we work in silos, we're not going to succeed. And it doesn't matter if it's a white kid, black kid, Latino kid, whatever it is. You cannot just say, I'm going to help this group or that group. It's easier. I think a lot of people feel comfortable working in their silo because they associate with it. And if they call on somebody that's the same ethnicity as they are, they might get the initial success of getting something done. But at one point or another, you have to step out of it. And that's what I love about this country. It really doesn't matter what color you are. Of course, there are issues, we can't just close our eyes on it and, ignore them. But the United States was the first place that I lived that I felt like it didn't really matter what I am. And if somebody didn't like me because of my accent and so on, if I worked harder, I knew that I can overcome anything. What I would recommend is everybody needs to work, and there will be somebody who wants to help. Why would you want to limit yourself to just that one group that you can go to?
I have a problem. Well, I don't have a problem. I think groups are okay, but I think sometimes just staying in your group and like being closed off to other groups, that's a problem. And I think, just look at even the screen right now, you guys. I mean, you're in Germany, Iran, Mexico. This is a beautiful thing, right? This is a beautiful thing. Sargon's wife is from Vietnam. My ex-husband was from Colombia. Like, it's just, let's get to know each other's cultures, what we're all about, and then form a group based on what we're like inside. I think that's what's important. I wish more groups would form like that. What are our common things we have going on that can make us better? I just think back, Sargon, when I started tech, if I'm 2% of the population right now, I was like 0.002%. I didn't have any idea that was even happening, by the way. We didn't have Google. We barely had computers. It almost was like better the knowledge I didn't know, because had I known I wasn't supposed to be there, I would have probably been super intimidated by somebody like Sargon, or the people that were surrounding me with all these amazing degrees and these amazing backgrounds and these amazing houses. I had nothing. I just had the will to work hard. And like Sargon says, and hopefully, with our personality, let's smile more, let's be kind, we maybe can, work much better together that way and do amazing things. And we did, Sargon. We did. Nobody cared
Yeah.
what we looked like. We were just hustling, working, whatever. It was an awesome thing. Yeah, I hope that more people get to know each other by collaborating, by allyship, by getting information. Come to my parties. I'll go to your parties. Like, what is that like? And let's get to know each other on a human basis.
And you brought up something, Martha, that it's really interesting for my generation. Sometimes we get analysis paralysis because we over-research everything. So if you're finding out from the stats, it's like, oh, only this amount of people actually succeed doing this, maybe I shouldn't do it. It's like, if you're listening to this and you're millennial or Gen Z, let's just do this and see what happens. We'll figure it out. As Martha says, we'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah. And that's how I think Sargon and I operate, right? We will figure it out. We want to help more people. Whatever our life is going to be, let's add that component into it. We'll figure it out. This is a new effort. We say, let's try it out. Let's see if it works. It's going to work because it's a good thing. He's got good products. We've got a good story. Come on. We'll figure it out. And, if we have to tweak it, we'll tweak it. But let's not get all negative about things. Like you said, Gaby, sometimes we just need to execute, do it. And if it feels good to you, do that. This feels good.
Don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
I will say one more thing. If you read this book and you can't figure out that you can actually do it no matter what,
You like that?
no matter how bad
That was
you
my
have
cue.
it. And it's truly about taking a step back, count your blessings versus feeling like every day it's a horrible day. Oh my God, my teachers are horrible. My friends are horrible. They're all factors. But if you take a step back and seek some advice from the right people, you can overcome, I would say 99.9999% of the challenges that you have in life.
Yeah.
So,
And take whatever I think one of the themes I see in all my life, and even starting with my parents, is they took whatever little opportunity they had, and how can they maximize that opportunity? Coming to this country, they had a little house. How can they make that better? Everything is all about being better. You know, Sargon wanted a better life, from Iran. He has got a better life. I wanted a better life from Mexico. It's all about being better. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It just needs to be just better than what you were before.
1% every day.
Just a tiny little, it doesn't, forget all the information. Just be better than it was. That's all.
All right, thank you too. And please tell us how we can do this. Is there a code that we need to put on zutBe when we order to be able to get the book, to be able to donate to the Martha Niño Foundation House? It's going to work.
So every time you go on zutbe.com and purchase any of our products, you will receive, Martha, this
I will
book
go.
with all the information that you need about how you can help the Martha Niño Foundation. And hopefully you'll enjoy our products. But I would buy our products just to get this book. I tell you, great stories. And, some of them definitely resonated with me, but, either go on Amazon and buy it, or, buy our products and get it for free, which is very generous of Martha, and give back. If you can, give back. Whatever it is, scan the code, go to Martha Niño Foundation and give back and do some good.
Thank you, Sargon. That's going to be awesome.
Everyone, you can buy the equipment, the chargers, the cables that are made to perfection with a 1 to 2 year replacement warranty that will not blow up your house on zutbe.com. And that will make sure that you get Martha's book, The Other Side, which will be included in the shipment. And you can also follow Martha Niño and Sargon Eshagh on LinkedIn to hear more of their insight.
That's about right.
That's right.